By the way, I've introduced a concept in communication. I'm sure you're familiar with the term presentation or presentational communication.
Mm-hmm.
I just have come up with a great, I think, useful distinction between a presentation and a speech. A presentation, when we teach speech, we teach that the visual support should support your ideas, not be the ideas. In other words, you don't stand up there and do a slideshow. You're doing a speech and you're using the slides to support you. But in presentational communication, you can have now, I've seen some dynamite presentations that don't even have words in them. They can present concepts really, really rapidly, visually, and you really get it, but there's not a word spoken, especially some really great commercials, TV commercials, that just go flipping through a concept without speaking a word. So presentational communication is, to me, an exciting frontier. But I would teach presentational communication much different than I would teach public speaking.
Okay. So yeah, we've sort of finished up with the general questions, and I will share my screen in just a minute. I just want to talk through some of the ways that you might sort of discover all of the content and resources available in your adapted product. So let me do this now. Share. And okay, can you see this? I'll try to make it a little bit bigger. So this is just a mock-up.
It says no longer connected to the meeting. Oh, yeah, you're automatically reconnecting me. Okay.
Can you see?
Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Oh, okay, great. Okay. So this would be, the screen that you as an instructor, once you logged into the platform, how you would sort of look through content and find out what are the resources and content that you want to use in your course. So,
by the way, a big breakthrough for me on this was I originally set up my Connect as week 1, week 2, all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
And I have gone back to chapter 1. I'm laying out this whole Connect platform like the textbook. It's just an extended textbook. So this is perfect for me the way you have it here. And I don't even now try to change the order in which, because that just confuses the student. I just refer them sometimes up to chapter 12 or something, but I keep it just in this linear order that you have here.
Okay. So if you were choosing content for your class, how would you get started on a screen like this?
How would I get started? Well, remember, I get started in Moodle, and they have stuff to do on Moodle, and I introduced this in the first class. I introduced some of the concepts in chapter 1, and I talked very briefly about listening, which I think is also a weaker chapter people really don't have problems listening when they're engaged. And so we make it, one of my operational definitions of listening is what the weaker are required to do by the stronger.
Mm-hmm.
The parent requires it of children, the boss of employees, teachers of the students. And it's really not listening at all is the problem. It's connecting is the problem. So anyway, I do minimize that listening chapter.
Okay. So I guess I'm speaking sort of from the time you're creating your course in your LMS and Connect and trying to find the right things that you want to use.
Correct.
So what type of instructor resources would you expect to find? That's
good, and that's my weakest point probably in terms of even with regard to the feature-rich Connect system, I don't think I've used all of the resources as effectively as I can. I would say, and this is real intuitive, what I'm telling you, is interactive tools that help me connect with students efficiently and effectively. You know, I don't believe we ever effectively multitask, but what we can do is order the information so it's coming through in a way that you can deal with it one task at a time very quickly and very efficiently, so that a communication system with students, so that some things can be graded, like the tests can be graded automatically, entered into the book, you know, that's just rote task. But other things with regard to tell me 3 ways you could introduce this topic. Tell me 3 ways you could introduce this. You know, that would be a neat, quick little exercise that'd be fun to be able to enter quickly. And so it's managing the flow of information. Those are the tools that I really am going to develop. And who knows how long I'm going to do this, but I'm setting a 5-year limitation on this project.
Okay. What would you expect to find in some of these chapter folders?
Folders? I have reduced it now to, I would expect, and again, I'm not, which term do I use? There's an exercise in there where they actually read the text and then jump out for questions, and they can't go on until they've read that. What is that? Is that just SmartBook itself?
Right, yeah, that would be the adaptive SmartBook. Yeah.
And so I have, and I can tell you in a heartbeat, I think I have 3 things that they do. Critical thinking, they answer some test questions that warm them up for the test, and they do, sometimes they'll view a video to look for something or something. Anyway, I try to keep it repetitive so that each time they go in a chapter, they know what to expect in terms of what they're going to do, and I keep the total time down so that they're able to get through a chapter in about 45 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, so consistency is important.
Consistency, efficiency. The first time I offered too much and students said it was repetitive and they didn't benefit, you know. So I'm keeping it short, consistent, and what I call valid exercises. Valid meaning they really move forward. And of course, reliable is they work. So I'm looking for validity and reliability.
Do you select content by, it sounds like mostly by chapter, or ever by learning objective or topics within a chapter? How do you try to find the things that you need?
I set up learning objectives in Moodle. I think Moodle is still the over architecture, you know, and then I'm working to connect into it. So you're subordinate to a superordinate system.
I see.
You hear a dog bark, it's just because my wife came home for lunch and the dogs run down. Okay, well, here they come. That will be the only interruption. They didn't bark. They must know you're on the line. Okay.
Very well behaved dogs.
Yes. So,
okay.
So that superordinate system then I think does a lot of the things. And you must be going one way or the other, and my inference is that you're going toward actually offering your own college course that that a college could